Grand Theft Auto 5's world was a beautiful, sprawling, but ultimately empty facade. A gorgeous postcard with nothing written on the back. It was a world you could look at but never truly touch. And if Rockstar Games doesn't face this hard truth, Grand Theft Auto 6 could become the most expensive and anticipated disappointment in the history of video games. The pressure is immense because the open-world genre has evolved light years since we last visited Los Santos over a decade ago. Today, we're not just asking for a bigger map, we're demanding a deeper, more reactive, and more believable world. We are breaking down the 10 game-changing innovations from other modern masterpieces that Rockstar absolutely cannot afford to ignore if they want the return to Vice City to be the revolution it promises to be. In this deep dive, we'll uncover why simply shooting at pedestrians is a relic of the past, how the unpredictable Florida weather could become your greatest tactical tool, and why the ability to level an entire city block might just be the chaotic freedom we've all been dreaming of. This isn't just a wish list, it's a roadmap to immortality for what could be the greatest game ever made. Let's begin with the very soul of any world, its people. Number 10 on our list is the desperate need for Red Dead-style NPC interaction. Think about Grand Theft Auto 5 for a moment. What could you do with the hundreds of people walking the streets? You could ignore them, or you could attack them. That was it. They were little more than walking set dressing, reactive targets in a shooting gallery. Now contrast that with the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. Every single person you meet can be engaged. A simple button press brings up a choice. Greet, antagonize, diffuse. This simple system transformed NPCs from cardboard cutouts into individuals with personalities. You could have a pleasant chat with a shopkeeper, get into a drunken argument at a saloon, or intimidate a witness into silence. It made the world feel lived in. Grand Theft Auto 6 doesn't need a black and white morality system. That wouldn't fit its satirical tone. But imagine having just a fraction of that interactivity. Imagine being able to compliment someone's car before you steal it, or trash talk a rival gang member to provoke a fight without firing the first shot. Imagine haggling with a pawn shop owner, getting a hot tip from a bartender, or overhearing a whispered conversation that leads to a secret opportunity. This single feature would do more to make Leonida feel alive than a million extra polygons. It's the difference between a virtual city and a virtual society with its own rhythms, its own gossip, and its own grudges. But a living society needs more than just conversations. It needs stories. This brings us to point number 7, fleshing out the strangers and freaks. Both Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead have these side missions where you stumble upon eccentric characters. In Grand Theft Auto 5, they were often hilarious, one-off encounters. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, these stranger missions were often multi-part sagas. You'd meet a character, help them, and then encounter them again later, miles away, and further down their own personal journey. Their stories evolved, sometimes intersecting with the main plot, making the world feel interconnected and persistent. Grand Theft Auto 6 needs to adopt this philosophy. Let's have side quests that aren't just a single, forgettable task. Let us build a relationship with a paranoid conspiracy theorist over a series of missions, helping him uncover a ridiculous plot that spans the entire map. Let us get entangled with a wannabe filmmaker whose disastrous production we have to save time and time again. These layered narratives are what elevate a good open world to a truly great one, making exploration feel meaningful and rewarding. It's about making the world feel like a web of interconnected lives, not a checklist of icons to clear from a map. But even with great characters and stories, a world can feel static if things only happen when the player triggers them. That's why point number 6 is so critical, the need for spontaneous world events. I'm not just talking about a random NPC asking for a ride. I'm talking about events that make the world feel like it's operating on its own schedule, completely independent of you. Imagine this. You're trying to get across town for a mission, but you're stuck. Why? Because a massive traffic jam has clogged the main highway during rush hour. Or you duck into a bar to lose the police, only to find a full-blown brawl has erupted inside.
A street festival could shut down an entire district, forcing you to find an alternate route on foot through chaotic crowds. Think about police chases involving other NPCs, building fires that emergency services dynamically respond to, or even a celebrity sighting that causes a paparazzi frenzy. These aren't just random encounters, they are systemic events that create friction and emergent gameplay opportunities.
They force you to adapt and improvise, creating truly unique, unscripted, only in GTA moments that players will share for years. This is the key to creating a world that truly breathes. Now, let's talk about the physical world itself, starting with one of the biggest complaints about its predecessor. Point number 2 is a cry from the entire community. We need more explorable interiors. The city of Los Santos was a masterpiece of illusion. From a distance, it looked dense and detailed, but once you got out of your car and started walking, you realized most of it was just a collection of beautifully textured locked doors. You could only enter a handful of buildings, making on-foot exploration feel shallow and restrictive. For Grand Theft Auto 6, this has to change. We don't expect to be able to enter every single apartment in every skyscraper, but there needs to be a happy medium. Let us walk into coffee shops, laundromats, office buildings, and apartments. Even if many of them are procedurally generated or have simple layouts, the act of being able to cross that threshold from the outside world to an inside space drastically increases the perceived size and depth of the map. It makes the world feel solid and real, not like a Hollywood movie set. It creates new avenues for escape during a chase, new options for stealth in a mission, new places for an ambush, and new ways of simply existing in the world. It allows for a whole new dimension of gameplay centered on urban exploration. And what good are interiors if you can't blow a new door through the wall? That leads us to point number 4, destructible environments. For a series built on chaos and mayhem, it's always been strange how indestructible the world of Grand Theft Auto is. You can fire a rocket launcher at a small building and do little more than scorch the paint. It's time to take a page from franchises like Battlefield. Imagine a police chase where you don't just go around a building, but through it, smashing through walls and sending debris flying. Imagine using a grenade launcher to collapse a balcony that snipers are using for cover, or a firefight that systematically chews away at the concrete barrier you're hiding behind, forcing you to constantly stay on the move. Destructible environments are not just a visual spectacle, they are a fundamental sandbox tool. They allow for dynamic changes to the battlefield and creative problem solving. Of course, buildings can't stay destroyed forever, but for the cool factor alone, players will happily suspend their disbelief when they drive by the next day and see it all rebuilt. If the idea of carving your own path of destruction through Vice City sounds like the ultimate power trip, do us a favor and hit that like button. It would mean the world to us.
This dynamic interaction with the environment should also extend to Mother Nature herself, which is why point number 5 is more dynamic weather. Grand Theft Auto games have always had weather systems, but they've often felt cosmetic. Rain in Grand Theft Auto 5 makes the roads a bit slicker, but that's about it. The game is set in a fictional version of Florida, a state famous for its wild, unpredictable weather. This is a massive gameplay opportunity. A sunny day should be able to turn into a terrifying tropical storm in a matter of minutes. And this weather should have a profound impact. Heavy rain could reduce visibility for both you and your enemies, making stealth approaches more viable. It could muffle footsteps, just like in Breath of the Wild. Hurricane force winds could make flying aircraft a nightmare and send debris flying across the roads. Lightning could be a genuine, random threat. A sudden fog bank rolling in off the ocean could provide the perfect cover for an escape. This turns weather from a simple background effect into a core gameplay mechanic that forces you to constantly reassess your plans, making the world of Leonida feel wild and untamable. Suddenly, checking the weather forecast before a big heist becomes a legitimate strategic consideration. That's true immersion. Now that we've discussed making the world more reactive, let's talk about how we move through it. Point number 9 argues that Grand Theft Auto 6 needs more off-road traversal options. Outside of the city streets, getting around in Grand Theft Auto 5 was often a chore. Driving a supercar up a mountain was a frustrating, slidey mess, and walking was painfully slow. The vast wilderness felt more like an obstacle than an opportunity. To fix this, Rockstar could look to an unlikely source, The Legend of Zelda. Introducing a stamina system for climbing, swimming, and running through difficult terrain like the Everglades-inspired swamps would turn wilderness exploration into a challenge of resource management and route planning. It would make reaching a remote peak or crossing a wide river feel like an accomplishment. This system could also be tied to character progression, allowing you to upgrade your stamina over time, opening up new parts of the map that were previously inaccessible. The reward is not just a collectible at the top, but the journey itself, the satisfaction of conquering a piece of the world that was designed to resist you. Of course, how much wilderness there should be is a topic of hot debate, which brings us to point number 3, the need for multiple, distinct urban environments. Let's be honest, Grand Theft Auto is at its best in the city. It thrives on the density of cars to steal, people to interact with, and towering buildings to navigate. The biggest problem with Grand Theft Auto 5's map wasn't just that the wilderness was boring, but that there was so much of it, and only one major city. The gold standard remains Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which gave us 3 unique cities, Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas, each with its own distinct architecture, vibe, and population. Grand Theft Auto 6 needs to recapture this magic. While we know Vice City is the star, the state of Leonida should offer more urban diversity. Give us smaller satellite towns with unique personalities, wealthy island communities, gritty industrial ports, and maybe even a theme park. This variety is what keeps a map interesting after hundreds of hours of play, preventing the mid-game slump where everything starts to feel the same. But no matter how well designed the world is, it needs toys. Point number 8 is that Grand Theft Auto 6 could be an even more incredible sandbox. At its core, Grand Theft Auto is a playground for chaos. It gives you weapons, cars, and a world to use them in. The 6th installment needs to double down on this. We could see more varied combat abilities, perhaps inspired by the cybernetic enhancements of Cyberpunk, allowing for more diverse playstyles beyond just running and gunning. A rudimentary building system, even something simple like in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, could revolutionize gameplay, especially in online, letting players create their own ramps, cover, or ridiculous contraptions. More likely, however, is an expansion of the life sim elements from Red Dead Redemption 2. Things like hair growth, weight, and muscle changes based on your lifestyle, and the need to maintain your weapons and vehicles would add a layer of immersive realism that makes your character feel more like a part of the world they inhabit. This could extend to needing sleep, managing your reputation in different districts, or even cleaning your guns to prevent them from jamming. These systems add a satisfying layer of role-playing to the traditional action. Finally, we come to the magic that holds it all together, the one thing that keeps players exploring for years after the credits roll. Point number 1. Grand Theft Auto 6 must be full of secrets and urban legends. From Bigfoot in San Andreas to the Mount Chiliad mystery in 5, hunting for myths has been a cornerstone of the series' identity. It fosters a sense of wonder and community as players all over the world share clues and theories. In the modern age of the internet and data mining, creating genuine, hard-to-find secrets is more challenging than ever, but Rockstar can do it. By creating strange, random events with incredibly specific and obscure triggers, not unlike some of the encounters in Red Dead Redemption 2, they can reignite that sense of discovery. We need more ghost cars, more alien sightings, more cryptic graffiti that hints at something deeper. We need mysteries tailored to Leonida, like a hunt for the skunk ape in the swamps, or strange phenomena in the Bermuda Triangle-esque waters offshore. These mysteries are the soul of a Rockstar open world. It's about capturing that childhood magic of believing that anything is possible. So there you have it, 10 innovations that could elevate Grand Theft Auto 6 from a great game to a cultural phenomenon that defines a generation. From a world that talks back to you, to weather that tries to kill you, to secrets that will haunt the internet for a decade. The blueprint is there. The only question is whether Rockstar is ready to build it, to build a legacy.
If you're as excited for the future of open-world gaming as we are, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our future breakdowns and deep dives.